Hello, this is Brett, and I'm here with Sandy. How you doing, Sandy?
Hey Brett, I'm very good. Thanks. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good, thank you.
How
Nice
was
and
your
relaxed.
vacation? Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. First, well, proper vacation in a couple of years where we actually got on a plane to go somewhere anyway.
Wow, wow.
Yeah, it was great. Really, really nice place. If ever you get the opportunity to go to Kos in Greece, I would highly recommend it.
Yeah, I
So,
haven't been to Greece yet at all, but yeah, that looked stunning.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah, yeah, very, very nice place.
Awesome.
So, thank you for keeping the ship moving while I've been
Yeah, we didn't sink or anything.
away. Perfect.
Well, I'm getting excited about a trip coming up because yeah, going to Germany for the European Collaboration Summit. That's going to be so great to see people again in
Yes,
there.
it is. Yeah, yeah. So we're not too far away, and
No.
it's a little bit like buses. We've been not going to conferences for God knows how many how many years now. Well, a couple of years, a lot of months, and then two come along.
Right. Yes.
So yeah,
Yeah. Oh, I see
we,
what you're saying about buses. Yes.
we have the European Collaboration Summit, which is end of November.
Hmm.
So I think that's the 29th
Right.
of November through to the 1st of December, and that's in Dusseldorf in
Hmm.
Germany.
Hmm.
And yeah, hats off to the organizers, Addis and Spence and so on, and
Yeah.
Elena. They've had to move that event and move
Right.
venues and
Yeah.
so on several
Yeah.
times over now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
been so long since I was accepted to speak there that I forgot what I was speaking on. So I had to,
Well, the technology is different.
well, that too. Well, I knew that was going to happen, but I actually had to go back and look myself up and see what I
What
need to
is it?
prepare.
What is it I said I was going to talk about?
Yes. So I'm doing Power Apps Jumpstart anyway. And that's one of the things I really like to do. But obviously, it's going to be completely different from the last time I did it 2 years ago or whenever that is.
Yeah, yeah, it's changed a lot, that's for sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's great that you're going to be speaking there, and Lightning Tools is also a gold sponsor as
Right.
well of that event. So yeah, I've been working on the marketing side and getting our booth all designed, and
Mm.
these things that I also haven't done for a couple of years. So yeah, ordering swag and
And so, what is our swag?
so we have got some little beanie hats, and
Mm.
they're basically eco-friendly hats.
Oh,
The way that they create the cotton and so on,
oh, okay.
they
I
don't
didn't
use any
realize that.
water to produce them, and they use recycled materials and that
Oh,
type of thing.
awesome.
So, yeah, some nice hats to keep your head warm.
Mhm. I
um,
plan to get one of those for sure.
yeah, and we've got some nice pens as well. So
Mm.
yeah, had I been in the office, I'd have been able to show you because I've
Oh,
got some
okay.
samples, even though it wasn't our logo. But
Oh, maybe
yeah,
next time.
absolutely. And yeah, we'll be giving away some Lego Technics as we always do.
Hmm.
So some nice Lego Technic Porsche race cars, things like
Cool.
that. So yeah, it should be awesome.
Yep, great. I miss that part too. I mean, even though it's like standing on your feet all day and everything, but I miss getting to talk to people about what we do. And I really enjoy that aspect of conferences too.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's going to be a nice break from just staring at your screen, watching a session,
Uh,
and so on.
yeah.
So to
Yep.
actually get that, so that'd be good. And
Yep.
then yeah, there's just less than a week in between
Uh-huh.
Germany and
Yep. I'm going straight
Vegas.
from one to the other personally.
Okay, fantastic. So yeah, we'll be there again as Lightning Tools. So we're going to be again a sponsor at that event, and same sort of thing
And
applies to
that's
that.
the yeah, what are they calling it now? Microsoft Collaboration something conference.
It was a SharePoint
Right,
conference,
right,
and it was what was always known as SharePoint conference. I mean,
right,
this is when Microsoft actually ran SharePoint
okay,
conference, but
right,
yeah, it's the Microsoft 365 collaboration conference now,
right, right.
and
Yeah,
so
at
yeah,
the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. So yeah,
that's correct.
it'll be a big deal again.
Yeah, yeah, and it's hard to know what's going to happen with the attendees. Whether they've got confidence to go to an event, and like maybe down on numbers or
Mm,
whatever. We don't know, but
mm,
I think it's good to make a start and getting back
mhm,
towards what
mhm.
was normality.
Right, right.
So
Yeah. Conversely, it could be that everybody is so ready to get out and go somewhere that they'll have a huge turnout.
yeah, who knows? Absolutely
And I
right.
see, in both conferences, they're doing all sorts of things to keep safe and,
Mhm.
requiring proof of vaccination, and I believe, and and distancing and all the things that they can do to keep everybody safe. So that'll be also good.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And having just traveled as well, yeah, I was until recently very reluctant to actually get on a plane and go anywhere.
Mm.
I just did
Mm.
not want to. And I must admit, like going through the airport and even sitting on the plane and everything, you feel safe, whether you are or
Mhm.
not. I don't know, but yeah, everybody's wearing masks
Right.
and everything's you have to.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's not really too different from getting on a train and going to London or going to a supermarket even.
Mm.
It's similar sort of environment,
Yeah.
and maybe even safer. I don't know, but yeah,
The airlines would have you say so
they
anyway.
would. They would. So it's the end of the month.
Yeah,
It's gone quickly, and we're wrapping up Social Squared. I know that you get a lot of questions about permissions
I
and
do.
how the security works around Social Squared. So I'm gonna let you talk.
Okay, all right. Yeah, and it's come up a couple times just recently too, where I've been needing to explain to people how Social Squared interacts with, or how people get permission to participate in the Social Squared forum. So I thought it would be helpful just to kind of put that all in one place in a conversation, and then people can refer to that. So basically, our theory behind social squared forum permissions is to use the built-in permissions in SharePoint. Since everything in social squared for SharePoint Online is based in SharePoint lists, when you add social squared to either a SharePoint site or to a Teams team, that set of lists is created in that SharePoint site, or if you're using it in Teams, that's created in the SharePoint site that underlies that Microsoft Teams team, since every team does have a SharePoint site related to it. And then that's a security boundary. So only the members of that team or SharePoint site can participate in the forums. And by default, in Social Squared, anybody who is in that group of members can participate fully in the forum. They can add new topics and they can reply to topics. They can edit their own posts and do all of the forum participating things. They can follow people and so on. And there isn't a way to restrict that further. We've had some questions where people would like to sometimes have a group of people have read-only access, and there isn't really that built into Social Squared because for SharePoint Online, because it is meant to be participatory and collaborating with people. So if you don't want certain people to have access to your forum, then don't put them into that SharePoint site or Teams team. um, but there isn't really a view only because we don't have a way of removing the links for those people and so on. And then by default, the owner of a SharePoint site or a Teams team is the Social Squared administrator. And so they have the ability to set all of the forum options. So there are quite a few configuration options that you can like toggle things on and off, or determine which forum groups are going to display on which Teams tabs or SharePoint pages. And it's the administrator, the Social Squared administrator, who can also create the forum groups and forums and set up that whole hierarchical forum structure that is one of the hallmarks of Social Squared. And the reason that people like using it so much is that you can set up your broad categories and narrower categories, and then people add new topics. But we also have we had a request where some organizations didn't necessarily want to give full ownership rights of a site to a person who needs to administer Social Squared. So we created a little while back a Social Squared administrator role, and there you can put people, one or more people, into a SharePoint group and then assign that SharePoint group to the Social Squared admin role. And then those people don't need to have full control to your whole site, but they can then create the forum groups and the forums and do all of the other Social Squared administration that's required. And then kind of another level not permissions exactly, but is the moderator role. And that can be done on a forum by forum basis. So within each, in our terminology, you've got your broad categories are forum groups. And then within each forum group, you've got narrower still categories, which are forums. And then at that level, you can add a moderator to any forum and one or more moderators. And then those people have the ability to do moderation kinds of things like moving topics from one forum to another that they have access to, or editing posts and removing posts if they're or approving posts. You can set it up so that a post can't appear unless a moderator approves it, and so on. So I guess I would say those are sort of the 4 different permissiony things involved. And one thing just to be aware of, because Social Squared can be used in a couple different ways in Teams, when you're using it as a Teams tab, then your security is for that team. And so again, the team's members can participate. But if you choose to use Social Squared as a personal app, which is where you can add it to the left rail in Teams, then that content gets stored in the root site of your tenant. And so you just need to make sure that everybody who you want to, well, really everybody, because then it's available to everybody in your tenant, then they would need to have membership rights in your root site of your tenant, just to be aware, to be able to participate in the forums.
But you could also break the permission inheritance on the lists as well, I would
You
imagine, at
could,
that
yes.
stage, if you wanted to go down that route. So
Mhm.
yeah, if you really wanted them to just be visitors to that home site,
Mhm.
if that's what is your default site, if that is the home site for your organization,
Mhm.
yeah, you could maintain that setup where they're just readers, and maybe you're using
Mhm.
the authenticated users group as a way to assign that.
Mhm.
But then break the permission inheritance on the SharePoint lists that
Mhm.
drive Social Squared, and yeah, they
Mhm.
can be effectively members on those
Mhm.
lists,
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
have contribute permissions, or whatever is required.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That specific thing has come up really recently, so I was figuring to write something up about that.
Yeah, excellent. That sounds good. And yeah, it's a real shame about the personal apps and not being able
Mm.
to set any properties
Mhm.
as you would do in a typical app. I mean, the way to do that would be to manage all of those properties yourself. It just doesn't get stored in the same way that the Social Squared web part properties or the property pane in the a normal Teams tab would get set. So yeah, doing things like the alternate source property that you have inside of Social Squared and things like that
Mm.
isn't even an option.
Mm.
So you have to use that site, unfortunately. But
Mm.
yeah, um, as I think you pointed out this week, there are alternatives. So one of the things you can enable inside of Teams is a organizational wide team, and I
Right.
think you can have 5 of those unless that's changed.
I think, and there are some restrictions on that as to which organizations can create those. I forget what it is exactly. It's something to do with the size of your organization, whether you even
Okay,
can create one of those. Like I think
right.
the really big orgs can't, I
Okay,
think, but
good to
still.
know. Yeah,
Because then that creates a separate SharePoint site collection behind it, and then you get the whole benefit of Social Squared being able to use that SharePoint permissions, and you just make everybody. I mean, everybody is then a member of that site collection or that team, that org-wide team, and yeah, you don't have to do any fiddling around with
yeah.
permissions.
Perfect. Well, that's great. I think you've summarized it really well. So yeah, wonderful, fantastic. And I guess that pretty much wraps it up for Social Squared
Yep.
this month.
Yep.
But we do have our webinar,
Right.
which is
Thursday.
yeah this Thursday, this coming
Mhm.
Thursday. So just 2 days to get registered for that. And if you
Yep.
can't make it, register, and we'll make sure that we get the link out to you so you can
Yes.
go
Yep.
ahead and watch the recording on that one.
Mhm.
So yeah, that will demonstrate Social Squared inside of Teams and also inside of SharePoint, as well as all the new features. So even if you are already familiar with Social Squared, there's going to be some new features to learn about. So it'd be
Mhm.
well worth your time attending that.
Yep, definitely. Great.
Fantastic.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks a
And
lot.
yeah, next month we'll start on a new topic.
Sounds
But
good.
yeah, all right.
All right, take care.
All
Thanks,
right, you
Sandy.
too. Okay,
Bye.
bye.